today we thought we'd actually talk a little bit about why we do the in-hand, because we've had loads of videos where you see us doing in-hand, but actually why are we doing it? So I thought I'd just discuss why we do it and why I find it so useful. So one of the main things I think for me is that it actually helps you bond with your horse. You get much better relationship with them, and you start to recognise their body language, and they actually start to recognise your body language as well. Being prey animals, you know, they can be quite dangerous if they're frightened and they, you know, get scared of something. So if you spend time training them on the ground and just an awareness of, this is my space, that's your space, because what you don't want is them, you see quite often some horses sort of bargy, pushy, running you down, nipping you. So it's great just even for, like, you know, that sort of obedience, and this is my space, that's your space. So that's one of the good things, even if you don't want to do anything else, just that respect for each other. It's not even to make him respect you, it's for each other. So, and understanding each other so that you're speaking the same language. So that's one of the great things for in hand. And then also it's great for, you know, if you have a horse that's rehabbing and you can't ride it, because it's not only good for the body, gymnasticizing, straightening, all of those things, it's also good for the mind. It stimulates the mind. So, you know, even if you can only like have a little wander around, if you can give them a few little things that they can do, walking over poles, a few little tricks, it just, you know, if you have an older horse that maybe, you know, you can't ride anymore and you don't really want to put it under great, you know, amount of stress, but you can do, you know, a lot of stuff in hand that would be great for it to keep the mind, to stimulate the mind. So that's why we do a lot of our in hand stuff. And then if you're keen on dressage and that's your thing, then the in hand can be great for that, because you can actually teach all the lateral movements from the ground, and it's a much better way to do it because it allows the horse a chance to find its own balance without the rider on top, because obviously when we sit up here, this changes everything for the horse. It has to now not only balance himself but also balance somebody on top. So if we teach the exercises from the ground and really get them secure and feeling quite confident and comfortable with doing those exercises, the next stage to get on and try those exercises from being on board is just a smoother transition. So one of the other things that I quite like for why I do the groundwork is because we have horses in for training and rehabbing and so forth, that you want to sort of understand their natural asymmetry. So are they a left bended horse? Are they a right bended horse? So, you know, you will find that you get quite a lot of horses that, say for instance, are left bended. So they coming round on the circle this way is perfectly fine, because this side of their body, the muscles are longer. This side of their body, the muscles are contracted. So it's a little bit like, you know, being able to sort of stretch one way, but not really being able to stretch the other way. So that's a little bit, when we do the work in hand, we can really work on that natural asymmetry. We can work out what's the dominant shoulder. Is it a dominant right shoulder, dominant left shoulder? Often when you're on a left circle and you find that they're left bended horses, you will find they're quite dominant in their right shoulder. So that right shoulder, they put a lot of weight into that and they kind of push out of the circle. So they're circling round to the left, but they keep pushing out the right shoulder. So that I talk about it as a centre of gravity. So the centre of gravity is you're trying to keep it here under the saddle, and with a left bended horse that's dominant in the right shoulder, that centre of mass will push into that right shoulder. So what our job is to try and do is to bring that centre of mass back and just encourage them to push with an equal pair of hind legs and take the weight out of that shoulder. Because actually, if they spend a really long time being dominant in the right shoulder, or the left one, but we'll just say right for instance, what will eventually happen is you're loading quite a lot of weight on that right leg, and so 60% of his body weight is in front and 40% is behind. So if you think of the legs as 30-30, but now you've got a really dominant right shoulder, you're putting sort of more than 30% in that dominant right shoulder. That can end up causing problems with that leg, even down to aggravating navicular and stuff like that. So it's quite important, I think, to make sure that you're really working on that horse to make it as symmetrical as possible, and hopefully that will help you guys.